Hello and welcome to the We Win podcast, powered by Accelerate Her Africa in partnership with the Human Pattern Institute. It's such a pleasure to have you here with us today. I'm your host, Lolita Ejiofor. My next guest trained as a lawyer, graduated from the Nigerian Law School, and then walked into a retail sales role at Etisalat instead. 15 years later, she has built and scaled sales teams across telecoms, fintechs, and enterprise tech, managed ecosystems of over 40 channel partners, and led multi-country go-to-market strategies across some of the most complex markets in Africa. She was recognized as one of Nigeria's top 100 career women in 2022 and leads Oracle Women's Leadership in Nigeria. I would love for you to welcome our guest, Hannatu Adegboyega. Hey, Hannatu.
Hello.
Welcome to the We Win podcast.
I am honestly happy to be here. I'm so happy to be here.
I am super excited to have you too. So, Hannatu.
Yes.
You trained as a lawyer, graduated from the Nigerian Law School, and then never practiced. Tell us about that season. What was going on and what were you following when you walked into the retail sales role at Etisalat?
Okay, first of all, shout out to my mom for not killing me. For spending all that money on law school and not practicing. But I think she knew. She knew I was never going to practice. And I think I was traumatized from the lack of creativity in law school. I wanted to be a fashion designer, by the way. And then my mom says, no, go to law school and just, get a career, get a degree, and then you can do whatever you want to do. But law school sucked all the creativity out of it. And they weren't paying lawyers as much. So now that we see all these nice, fancy lawyers, that's now.
Things have changed.
Then they were paying my cousin 50,000. So imagine if you had borrowed law school fees. Imagine, how are you supposed to pay back? So I knew I was never going to practice. Luckily for me, Etisalat had just come to Nigeria. Right. And it was still shiny. Telco was still very shiny in the industry. So, and we had I think we had an Igbo that was able to give me an interview. So it was easy to just get that interview. And I wanted to make money. So it wasn't like, I wanted a career in telco. I just wanted a job. I just wanted to work and earn salary. So nothing major was going through my head. All I knew was I need to work. I finished NYC. I want to work. I don't want to be sitting at home. I don't want to be idle. That was it. And I got a job. And my first salary was 150,000.
Oh.
I know. My mom said this is more than my own salary. So when they say you be greater than your parents,
yes,
I lived it.
You were
I lived it. I am. And my mom is so proud of that, right? So yeah, it was a good stepping stone to just start that career in sales. And that's how I found myself in sales. I didn't plan to be a salesperson, but here we are. But
what you demonstrated was a high level of discernment.
Yeah.
So early in the journey, you realized this law, not for me. I want to, it's sucking the energy out of you. And recognizing that on time and then saying no is very discerning.
Thank you.
Good for you. You started as a retail sales customer care executive and were promoted to team lead in 3 months. Key account manager in 12. What did those early years teach you that you cannot learn at a senior level?
The hustle. Honestly, the hustle. I remember when I was in retail sales, a colleague stole my customer. And I remember going home because I got married. I just got married. And I told my husband, my God, you stole my customer. And he said, that's your problem. Listen to yourself. That's your problem. And I remember he told me, I'm giving you a year to get out of that shop. If you don't, I never want to hear any complaints. Yep. He said, I don't want to hear any complaints about it. So I had to find a role that was open anywhere in the business to just move to. So I was constantly asking, do you have a role open in your team? Is there any? I was just asking around because I knew that he was serious. That 1 year after that. And he told me, he said, people that stay longer than a year in the shops, they tend to get used to it. I get comfortable, right? So he kind of made me uncomfortable, which is why I got those promotions. But what it taught me then was the hustle. 2, you have to make your own way. 3, customer service. Because people coming into the shops, they don't really care.
Patience.
How it's doing.
Where do you get it from, though?
So you're attending to people that, whether they have body odor, whether they have body odor, whether they look nice, whether it's one. So you know that kind, and then you're looking at you know when you pick that one person that's going to buy 5 naira airtime, and the person gives you the most stress, and then in walks in that nice executive, comes to buy like 100,000, goes straight to your friend, and like, why didn't you come to me? Right? I remember, and I've been trying to remember his name. There was this jeweler. He was a big deal. He used to be in the UK. He was a Nigerian guy that used to do diamonds. Right. So if you think that 2009, 2000s, he was a big deal. I just can't remember his name. He came into the store. This was maybe like 10 minutes to close. And very plain, nondescript outfit. And I just thought, this is a shady looking guy. And he bought something worth 100,000. And I remember very clearly putting the money separate from what was paid to us that day. Because I thought, before the rest of the shop money will come and disappear. Because this shady character just walks in. And then he leaves, and then somebody comes and says, oh, did this guy just leave the shop? And I'm like, oh my God. You know, so the point of this is the customer care, it doesn't matter who. Yeah. You don't even know who it is. A celebrity, non-celebrity, anybody. You're just nice to everybody because you don't want anybody escalating you. Yeah. You don't want anybody saying, oh, I had a bad experience at this store because of this. So things that I learned that kind of formed my sales life is one, the respect for people, respect for person, the hustle, because anyhow, we have to sell. Yeah. You have to meet targets. And then just, looking for opportunities to get out of where you are, especially if you know this, I need to get out. So, yeah.
And that requires a level of intentionality because I don't know how you did it because I know patience is one of them. And you're right, we're not very nice to customer services people, but for you to then take that on, it's part of your character shaping. Yes, and that's what led you to where you are.
It is.
Good for you. You have said your edge is understanding how to sell technology in markets where trust, relationships, and regulatory nuances matter as much as the product itself. What are you reading in a room or a relationship that someone without that understanding misses entirely?
I think I need to explain the whole trust thing, first of all. When you start to sell big things, when you start to sell or when you start to price or cost in USD, especially in Nigeria or in a country that's not the normal currency, you realize that it's not just about selling the product. So let's even just talk about trust for a minute. And it's where we see lots of people missing it right now. Everybody can build what you're selling. Because when we think of who our greatest competition is any developer in the bank, any developer in the FSI space. The fact that a company will come to you, pay you in a currency they don't have, because they have to look for that money. It's built on, one, they trust your business, the credibility of your business, but also that they trust you are selling value. You want to make them look good. You genuinely care about their business, genuinely care about their problem. Building that trust, a lot of people come in and they just think, what's up? I know you, I have a good product, buy it. What's wrong with you? You need me, I need you. It doesn't work like that. Sometimes you sell or you go in or you pitch knowing that they may not buy from you first. They might buy for a competition. I have a perfect example. When I first joined a company I was with, I remember one of the calls I was on, the solutions engineer, he told them, they said, even if you don't buy from us, we can try and help you out with the solution you're using. I think it was my first intro to that value selling, where even if you're not buying from me, I will support you with what you have that is clearly my competition. So that the day you need me or the day that breaks, you will think, this person was useful to me. Let's try her, right? Let's try their solution. So that's the trust selling, and that's what we're losing now, because a lot of people go into the room, like I said, and they don't know how to build that relationship. You don't know that you're supposed to make your customer look good. My only job is to make you as a customer look good. You are going to your board, you're going to see you. My job is to make sure you look good. Right now, I'm working on collating data. Is it my job? No. But I'm working on collating data from 100 farmers just so I can make a stakeholder in agric in a state look good when he's talking to his governor. And so that he will in turn say, we need to buy from her because she knows what she's doing. That's really the trust. And a lot of people they don't want to bother or take the time to do that. But you have to, if you want to sell well and you want to repeat your sales and be sustainable as a salesperson.
Exactly. So for you care about the customer's journey. You care about what your solution is offering them and how that helps them to grow or to move to the next level. But I think a lot of people are just hit and runs. We just hit them one time and we out.
Meet my targets and I'm done. Get my commission, I'm done.
Yes. That's it. So, but then how can trust be formed from that kind of relationship? Exactly. Transactional. Okay. You said something that I want to ask you about directly. You said many deals don't happen in meeting rooms. They happen at 11 p.m. over Suya at someone's house.
Yes.
For a woman in enterprise sales, what does navigating that reality actually look like?
I always tell people that we grew up in a generation where we heard about people that would starve themselves all day or all week just so they could have lunch at the Hilton. Or you'd hear about somebody that would save like the whole summer just so they could fly one business class trip to London because they wanted to sit next to an MD right? You realize that we do that. And when you know that deals are not made in office space, they're made in clubs, they're made on airplanes, they're made in church. They're nowadays, they're made, I can't tell you, and I don't know if we should say this, but I can't tell you how many deals are made when people go for Hajj. Why do you think people hustle? Because deals are made on that flight, that whole trip. There's a sense of freedom. Right now, there's a meeting we're all planning to go for because we know that when you meet a stakeholder, when they're free, they're relaxed, they're chill, they can sign anything. Anything and everything can be signed. So when you think of those kind of situations, now bringing it home to how to deal with these kind of situations, there's places I can't go to. There's no way I can explain being at somebody's house at 11 p.m. What will I tell? Pause for laughter. How? How do I explain that kind of thing, right? Or, recently, 2 weeks ago, a colleague said, can we have this meeting in my room? And we're in a different state. And I had to say, no, let's have it by the poolside. And he was like, oh, yeah, he didn't think of that.
Wow.
So you still get those questions. But you've learned, or I've learned, to find ways around it. I remember when I did that post and I talked about that. I said, now I ask for lunch. Broad daylight, nobody can point any fingers at me, but broad daylight, can I meet you somewhere else? Or where are you guys going to hang out? If they're going to hang out at 10, okay, I leave by 11. And the thing I've learned is that when I have to be in these kind of situations where I have to maybe meet them at dinner or meet them at a club, how I dress, how I project myself, so that nobody
gets the wrong message.
Exactly. Let's not use the wrong words, but nobody is doing that to me. Nobody is looking at me the wrong way. They see me as a serious-minded person. I think the mistake we're making is, as women are trying to use their inner beauty to close deals. And the thing is, it may close a deal or two. It may get you what you want, but it will not get you a renewal because at some point, they will start to look for the brains. It's not just the body they're looking for. So how you project yourself when you have to be in those situations, especially in a male-dominated space like enterprise sales, or even where I am now, B2G, right? Being able to project yourself as somebody they can respect or somebody that commands the respect without being too arrogant or anything, but someone that commands that respect so that when you are in these situations, you get what you want without what you don't want.
Yes.
For lack of,
Yeah. I mean, I did a talk on organizational politics and how women are federalized somewhat.
Yep.
You got to do what you got to do to get where you got to go. But how sustainable is it? But I feel like, as you rightly said, a lot of these spaces are male-dominated. So, for instance, to discuss a promotion, to discuss a deal, discuss, a strategic, win, they may happen after work, late in the evenings. So we find that a lot of women lose out because they don't want to find themselves in precarious situations where they're called out. So I think you've given a really strong advice on what to do. But I feel like, what would you say to those who do not have the upper hand or the experience? So, for instance, a young person just navigating an organization where, for sales, she has to make some decisions which may put her in situations which may not be friendly. What would you recommend that she does in those situations?
I always advise, go with a partner. That's why you see bankers, they roll together. Try and go with a partner, somebody that will, even if you're trying to slide down that slippery rabbit hole, can kind of call you back to order, pull you back to your senses. So try and go with a partner. Think of the worst case scenario. Somebody says, come meet me at 5 p.m. or come meet me at 6:30 p.m. in my office. Think of the end. try and think the whole scenario through, because sometimes we just think, I'm going to go meet this guy in his office. You don't know this person. You don't know if the office is empty. You don't know if something happens, what's your escape route? God forbid if something happens. So think of the whole thing. Like, if this story should get out, how would it look? How would it be played? Or what could possibly happen to me in this situation? We need to learn to think of the holistic view, the holistic picture, so that we are able to be better prepared. And I recently had a mentoring session with Mr. Oshika, and one of the questions that I asked her something similar like that, and she said, you need to practice these scenarios so that when they happen, you're not shocked.
Right.
That's why the higher you climb, you need to learn to practice what could happen if somebody responds to me. And she gave some examples, and I told her, I said, if I was there, I would have messed up, because I would have answered in a way that kind of didn't say no, but didn't say yes to the question that was asked by a high stakeholder to her. And she said, no, you need to practice that scenario so that you don't give the impression of, I'll think about it. Yeah. Meaning there's a room, I'm opening a door, So just practice scenarios, think about it, bounce ideas off your friends. Somebody says, come and meet me somewhere, tell somebody that, what's up? This person says, come and meet you here. Come and meet me here. What do you think? Let's hear their opinions. Just so that you're not crazy in thinking to go, or you're not crazy in saying no. As the case may be. So
that's great advice.
And I should add, because I don't know who told me this story recently, but it was a gentleman that was telling me that he went to his own stakeholders, and the person answered him in her robe. Luckily for him, he went with a colleague, so he kind of gave her the idea of, oh, I came with somebody, so you kind of want to cover up. If not, this was his boss or stakeholder trying to hit on him. So we kind of always think it happens to women, but
it happens to men.
Apparently, right? So the whole thing of buddying up with people, making sure that you go to somebody, because this was 11 p.m., 10 p.m. at night, buddying up with people and making sure that you're not alone, so that somebody else can corroborate your story if something goes wrong.
Yes. Very great advice. Thanks. You've spoken about the parts of building a career as a woman that don't get talked about, including being the only woman in the room. It is obvious you have lived that reality. Take us into that experience. What does it require of you that it does not require of men around you?
First thing is common sense and wisdom. Lots and lots of wisdom. And I'll give you an example. One of my roles at one of the OEMs, I remember we had stakeholders from Kenya, and there was a big deal we were talking about. And when you have those kind of deals that different teams and different people are kind of involved, and this was what? So let's say closing time for school is 3:00. So let's just say it was 3 to 3, spilling into almost 3:30. Right. And we were having this conversation, okay, this team will do what? And it's one of those conversations that if I had left the room, I would have lost my advantage. And my team had the biggest chunk. Yes, my country manager was there, so I could have easily said XYZ would represent me, but you kind of lose ground when you're not in those conversations, because tomorrow when they want to have another powwow, they won't remember to call you because they would say, oh, the country manager is here, he can talk for her, right? Which is why I always tell people, stay in the room. When they're having late meetings, stay there. Just stay. I don't care. Because tomorrow, when you're not there, they would say, oh, she needed to go. When they want to promote, they'll say, she might not have time to have these late meetings. So back to the story. School was closing. I think I for some reason, which normally I'm not, but for that day, I knew I was responsible for pickup. So it was a toss-up with schools out. These children need to be picked up. But if I leave this room, there'll be a problem.
Happen.
This is where the wisdom and the common sense comes in. I don't even remember if it was a teacher or a friend. I remember saying, pick up the children. I'll pick them up from your house. And I think it was my friend because she's in Ikoyi. And then texting teacher and saying XYZ is going to pick up the kids. And then knowing that I could stay longer in that meeting room while they were picked up. So having that support system, first of all, helping. Because if you want to be the only woman in a room, you need to build your system. You need to build your structure, and you need to build your village. That's the whole drama of people saying, we don't have a village, you have to build it. You have to become a villager and build it. If not, there's some things you cannot do to remain the only woman in the room. And we don't always want to be the only woman, but in that moment, you cannot survive if you don't have something to support you, right? So being the only woman in the room is only possible when you've put systems in place that allow you to be the only woman in the room. Because the more you grow, and I've seen in my career, the more I grow, the more I'm speaking to stakeholders. I can't do them if I don't have people doing other things for me.
Absolutely.
It won't work. And I think that's the part, that's honestly the part we don't talk about enough. The systems we have to build. And I remember years ago, one of my egbons, this was when I first started my career, so this is years and years and years, before I even had kids. She said, if you know you want to build a career, if you know you want to rise and do the things you want to do, be ready to have a very expensive overhead cost. And I didn't understand it then. She said, oh yeah, you have a cook, you have a nanny, you have a driver, you have people around you that will take care of the things you cannot take care of.
Yeah.
Because if you want to go out and solve world problems and create world peace, you really have to have people doing the things you're not doing.
Yeah.
Well, except some things, but you get what I mean, right? But you have to have people doing some things that you're not doing. And that's the only way you can grow and at some point be the only one in the room before you start to open up the door for other women to come in and support you. But I think we need to start telling ourselves the truth more, especially as women, that if you want to be that all-powerful woman, there's some things that you're going to have to face. And this is one of them. So start to build your systems down. So when it happens, you're not shocked.
Right. I had a discussion with one of our previous guests about this same scenario you talked about. And she mentioned some women fall into the guilt trap. So, okay, I've got time. I'm trying to, thrive in my place of work. So I'm going to put some support systems in place. So I have all of these people. How do women find we always have these voices in our heads. Yeah. So how do we manage and navigate the whole balance between career and home life?
Let me first give you two stories if we have time, right? I remember, and this was early, I just had my son. We had gone for a work retreat in Abeokuta. And I remember either calling the nanny to confirm that they had picked up my son. And my colleague said, I can't too. Nobody can pick him. And I felt so guilty. And it was one of my senior ladies in the business, that my boss's colleague, that said, don't ever let anybody guilt trip you. Right? So that's the first thing. Having people that can tell you, don't let anybody guilt trip you on this. Don't let anybody make you feel bad about this. Have people that will tell you that it's okay. The second story was, I remember I was on the mainland meeting and my son had either there's an infection or something. And my nanny took him to the hospital and he was a doctor. It was one of these major consultants in Lagos, a female doctor. And I kept apologizing. I'm so sorry I'm not there. I'm so sorry. And she said, don't ever apologize for going to work. She said, you should be grateful you have a nanny that can explain to me what's wrong with your child. Those kind of things just make you think, okay, I'm okay. I'm all right because this is a woman at work, right? So if I would advise people, surround yourself with people that...
Find your tribe. I was just going to say.
That's it. Find people that you are seeing that it is possible. I am not alone. I am not the bad mother.
Yes.
For the past, what month are we in? August? For the past 3 weeks, this is the only week I'm not traveling this month. And I told them, I said, I'm protecting this week with my blood. Let my children see me. Because for the first week, second week, or let's say last week of July, first week of August, I didn't start Mondays in my house. 5 a.m. I was out of the house, catching the first flight out of Lagos. It was only last week I had to tell the team, I said, can I see daybreak in my house? Can I tell my children bye-bye? I can go on the 10 o'clock flight. Nobody will die. Yeah. Right? So having those negotiations. And the truth is, it's very interesting because the more you rise, the more you can start to have these negotiations.
Yes, because your value proposition is showing.
Do you understand?
I
remember telling the team when they said, Hannatu, we need you in Ghana on Thursday. I said, I'm sorry, my son has a presentation on Thursday. Can I come in Friday morning? And they're, okay, fine, that works. Yeah. You'll be shocked what works if you are valuable, like you said. So if we want to advise anybody, find your tribe. Be valuable. Be so valuable that they cannot ignore you. Right? Be so valuable that you are needed in that meeting, that they will stop a meeting. Not necessarily stop, but they will work around you. Yeah. Because the truth, people are realizing that people have lives. And people are realizing that it's no longer just money that keeps people. It's culture in the business. So if the culture is agreeable to me having a family life and a life outside work, I will be happy to work for you. I'll be happy to give you overtime because I know you consider somewhere else. But you also, young woman, be ready to give the overtime. Yeah. Because I was dragged once when I said, involve me, and yet you shut your laptop at 5 o'clock. I cannot shut my laptop at 5 o'clock because I know that I was doing something else at 2 o'clock. Yeah. So by 6 o'clock, if they call me, see, I'm available. That's what senior leadership requires.
Yeah, you have good negotiation skills.
We try.
Your numbers are extraordinary across every role you've held. These are your flowers.
Thank you.
Yes. But what you seem to care about most is the people you build and lead.
Oh, yeah.
What do you see in someone that tells you they are going to be exceptional?
Resilience. I'm in sales. I think that's the one thing we're lacking right now. No offense to any generation, but right now in sales, we are lacking a resilience. Is it skill, capacity? I don't even know what it is. Is it resilience, bloodline, stream, cell? I don't know. If you can take a beating, take a no, take a I'm not ready for this, and still go cry, wipe your face, rub your powder, and go back. That's all I need.
Okay.
That's all I need, because it shows that you are a can-do person.
Yeah.
Some people need 3 working days, 3 to 5 business working days to recover from one no. Do you know how many no's? So I have mentees that tell me, oh, I got a no from an interview. I'm like, oh, wow. And then Hannatu, you're so lucky. I am. You have no idea how many no's I get.
Yeah.
But people just assume your life is perfect. So resilience, first of all. I'm seeing more and more now that, and it might be part of the resilience, but it's more like an entrepreneurial can-do. Somebody says, I don't want this cup. I don't want this cup. I don't want because it's white. Okay. Do we want to give you a pink cup? Right? Do you need something else? Just that being able to think outside the box, because the box doesn't exist anymore.
Yeah.
That's how you know exceptional people. So I remember I went in for a meeting. Some guy that had just been appointed, some naval something, I can't remember. This was a couple of years ago. I was consulting for a company then, and we went in the meeting, and it was very obvious he was distracted. He was talking more about some CCTV, and he didn't have visibility. And I said, okay, what's wrong? What's wrong? He said he doesn't have visibility on some parts of the port, something like that. And I called the guy I was consulting for, the CEO, and I said, do you have anybody that supplies CCTV? And he's like, what are you talking about? You're trying to sell cybersecurity to the guy. I said, no, this man needs CCTV. A salesperson needs to be able to step away from cybersecurity and say, this man's problem is CCTV.
Right.
I need to sell CCTV to this man, solve this problem. Then he will have the space to hear my cybersecurity. That's what makes somebody exceptional. Solving your problem so that you will now hear what I'm trying to sell to you. Yeah. And because I've solved your problem, you are now almost inclined or obliged to listen to me or buy from me. That's what we need. That's really what it is. I've been accused of being too empathetic as a leader, but sometimes it's because you want to hear how people think, what they're going through. We've left the stage of sales where you beat people and drive people with their blood to sell to meet a target, which is why we're losing value selling, where people are not selling the CCTV.
What I need.
And they're forcing me. Yes, they're forcing me to sell because they have to meet the target. Because people are beating down people's throats, and we don't have good salespeople anymore because of that. And I'm not saying it in a bad way. We're building. There's some exceptional sales leaders, but salespeople have now been trained to just meet targets, not to value sell. And you have to remember, there's renewal.
Yes.
There's referral. There's upselling. There's cross-selling. If the person just gets out of my face, none of that will happen. Yeah. So, all those things. First, as a leader, be empathetic to your team, listen to your team, let your team know that you're supported. But also, as you're looking for, and maybe not just sales, I guess across any industry now, people that are resilient, people that have that can-do spirit, people that want to think, they have common sense. Yeah. I think that's really what makes exceptional people now. Maybe the bar is too low. I don't know.
I feel the circumstances may change, but those values still are required in anything to do with sales and dealing with other people and customers. But I feel like the one that sticks with me, apart from common sense, is empathy. You really need that, because that's the only way you can understand from the customer's perspective, and not just yours. Ramming cybersecurity down someone's throat when all they need is a CCTV camera. Exactly. How can you be communicating and building trust? Because the other person starts to think, well, this person just wants me to buy this thing at all costs. So okay. You have moved from telecoms to fintech infrastructure to autonomous AI-powered logistics. You keep choosing the edge of what is possible rather than the safety of what is established. What are you following?
I swear, I wish I knew. There's
something there.
There's something, clearly.
Let's hear it, please.
There's something. I think I want growth, right? I think why I'm chasing these jobs and why I love startups is because there's a kind of heart to the sales. It allows me It allows me still be an empathetic value selling salesperson. It gives me, and where I am now, I love it because there's that level of impact that I'm able to deliver while I'm still collecting your money.
Yeah.
Right? And just the visibility these roles give. There's a visibility you get when you are in innovation.
Right.
I remember, funny enough, this year, and it was one of my boss that reminded me, apparently I had said that I need to expand my network in government. I probably said it carelessly. I just want to expand. I need to know more people in government. I need to know people in, let's know governors. I too want to know that I know a governor or two or a commissioner or a minister. I want to be among those people, right? I know I said this thing carelessly. And here I am now, having these meetings with, because my stakeholders are government people.
Pretty much.
Right? I was telling my husband a few days ago, I said, as I am now, I know 2 incoming governors. That's interesting. Right? And it's not a pride kind of thing. It's just, this is where my career has taken me.
Yeah.
So it means that I now need to start thinking, what next? What next in my career? How does this work? How can I make sure that I don't get stuck in this role, but I'm able to show that I am very versatile, especially to the business and to anybody else that wants to potentially hire me in future.
Yeah.
So I think it's really about growth and where am I going to, because I always tell people my whys. I have 2 whys. One of them is religious, but the second one is my daughter.
Right.
Oh yeah. My 2 whys are, and I know I have 2 children. My son, no offense.
What's your son gonna think?
He's a guy. The world is set up for him to succeed.
Yeah.
That's it. The world is set up. I want my daughter to live in a world where if there is no seat at the table for her, it's a man that goes and cuts down the tree. I need my daughter to live in a world where she's not assumed to be the president's wife. She is, by suito, the president.
Right.
So when you do these things, it's because I need her to see what is possible. See that it is possible to have a full career and have a family, and nothing has to suffer.
Yeah.
Meaning, and because we talk to women on this podcast, meaning, and I know we are going to get into it, who you marry. I remember I say this in laws when I talk to women, and I remember saying this one time in a space that was mixed gender, and the guys say, please, we want to hear more. And I'm like, okay, because the truth is I have also seen a situation where we have friends that the girl the guy married insisted on them relocating. Last they're back in Nigeria, no house, no, and I just wonder if you had just stayed the course, if you had just put your head down and let this guy work, he would have succeeded. But for women, who you marry is so important, because the person you marry is directly, it is not by the side, it is directly related to how far you can go in your career.
Absolutely.
There's a limit to how much you can rise if your spouse or your partner does not let you. So all these things we're doing, it's because I need her to see, my daughter to see. Yeah. Auntie, shine your eye when you're marrying. Because the person you marry, perhaps he shall help you or he shall kill your career one way or the other.
We don't want that.
We cannot afford advice. It. Right? My mom, I say it carefully because now we see that there are more homemakers, and now I have a better understanding of homemakers. Yeah. But my mom was a career woman. She was the only visual of a career woman growing up in the North for me. I didn't see that much. Right? But I know one of the things she told me was, please don't ever say you're going to stay at home and be a housewife. At that time, housewives didn't have extra. Housewife was literally just housewife. Dependent, solely dependent. And now we have housewives that are making more money than us in the office, right? But she told me, she said, if you're going to do that, just take a knife and kill me. My mom literally told me that. She said, take a knife and kill me. Because it means everything I've worked for is a failure. I needed you to see that you could have a career, you could have a child, you could raise a child, and you'd still be fine by building a village. Her village was my grandmother. Yeah. I was raised by my grandmother. So it's the same thing I've learned and I'm passing on to my daughter. You need to see it, that you can travel for work, you can do big things, you can be in the news, you can do podcasts, you can meet people, you can network, and still come home and do baby girl for your husband.
That's a great combination. And perhaps because I haven't got a daughter, but I can see exactly why you would be giving her this advice and why it's so important that she is self-aware and knows what she wants going forward, just like her mother. So when I ask, what are you following? You're following your vision, your passion, impact, growth, all of those things. So I guess you'll be introducing me to Michelle Obama very soon.
Yes. I'm following the rich housewife life.
Okay. All right. So you lead Oracle's Women Leadership in Nigeria and sit on the board of Women in Tech Nigeria. You're already performing at the highest commercial levels. What drew you towards that work?
Okay, so when I was with Oracle, I think OWL, Oracle Women Leadership, I was the most senior person, so it was by default. But realizing that a lot of people don't know what you know. When you start to realize that people don't know what you know, you assume people know things about networking and visibility and all these things that, how to, and when I say visibility, I mean visibility in the workspace, making sure that you're visible enough to grow your career, right? You assume people know these things, but people don't. So when I volunteer or when I take these kind of roles, these are past roles even, but even just doing that, I'm volunteering with WIMBIZ, for example, and all these, even just coming here is because we're finding out that we need to start speaking more.
Yes.
Which is why we're all on Instagram trying to speak more, because we realize that women or girls or people behind us don't know, genuinely don't know, because nobody said it. How we learned, only God knows. I think we were the generation of toxic bosses, so we learned the hard way. So we're kind of making it easier for you guys now, right? But we're doing these things, and the reason why I do these things, no matter how much growth I've found in my life or how, my career grows, is because there's a responsibility on me to make sure that the next generation succeeds, to make sure that I'm not the only woman in the room. God forbid.
Correct.
Right? We can't afford that anymore. And there's a responsibility on me. And there's a series I'm going to start very soon about just talking about my grandmother and things I learned from my grandmother and my mother. There's literally a hemlock on me from all the things they sacrificed to do better, to make sure that I pass it on. So I don't have a choice, really, at the back of my head, but to volunteer, but to speak up in these things, but to take these volunteer responsibilities, because they're all volunteer responsibilities. Yeah. Because I need to show women, like I said, it's possible, and we need to be able to teach people how to behave when you find yourself as the only person, so you don't go and spoil road for the next person or be badly behaved, and then they say that's how all women are. God forbid. Right? We have to be the light that people see. So if you've been chosen, it's not just for you to do vibes and buy a nice bag. It's for you to be able to open the door for the next person.
Absolutely. I think that's one of the things that drew me to you, because I can see you're that kind of person who is not doing for herself. You're being a voice for women. You're advocating for women to come forward and show up and be great and see greatness in you and actually believe that they can achieve it as well. So I absolutely love you for that.
Thank you. I love you right back.
For the young woman considering a career in sales or commercial leadership, wondering whether it is a space she can truly thrive in, what is the most honest thing you can tell her?
That's a hard one. I think be ready. People go into sales thinking it's easy. It's not. Sales is not easy. With great reward comes great responsibility.
Yes.
So be ready, because there are things that will be thrown at you that you couldn't have imagined. So be ready, and I say this on all fronts. Be ready for the no's, be ready for the yeses, be ready for the highs, be ready for the lows. Be ready for the propositions, because they will come. Be ready for it. Be ready for somebody to make you feel horrible. Yeah. But you need to dust yourself up and tell yourself, I'm not this person. I'm not a bad person. I'm not a horrible salesperson. Be ready for it. So literally prepare your mind. And when you prepare yourself and prepare your mind, everything, all your life choices start to kind of align with that, because your mind, you're now making choices based on this life I have chosen. Yeah. Because this is a life we choose. We've chosen this life. And let me tell you a fun story. I remember when I left Oracle, I was looking for a job. And I remember applying for some random, maybe like a project management role. And somebody in the business called me, a huge organization, and they said, I'm sorry, did you see the JD? Like, you're a core salesperson. Almost telling me you have nowhere else to go but sales, man. Why are you here? So just realizing that this life, just to kind of buttress the fact of this life we have chosen, I have chosen this life.
Yes.
You have to be ready for it. Be ready for it and be ready for the growth, because sales is very profitable. When done right, I won't lie, it's a rewarding job, and salespeople are always in need. Sales is the blood of revenue, is the blood of a business, any business. They will always, AI cannot take my job. I've thought about it. I've looked at it. I've looked at it. I've gauged it anyhow. AI, which is why we're value selling. AI can't make a customer laugh.
Yes.
AI can't take my job if I do it well. So sales, you just be ready. Be ready for the life you are about to choose.
I think it's also that self-awareness. You know who you are, because you mentioned all of these things that could potentially happen and make you feel uncomfortable. But it's understanding who you are and realize, okay, this is not me, or this is me. And you're able to make better choices as you go and as you learn. All right. So when you imagine Nigerian and African women fully represented in enterprise commercial leadership, from sales teams to boardrooms, what does the business landscape actually look like? So what changes?
I think, first of all, more representation. Obviously, we need to see more women. And I'm so glad that we are in an era of it's good to be a woman, because we have roles that are now created just for women. They might not say it out loud, but yeah, just for women. But what changes is us honestly supporting each other. Not for talk, not for show.
Yeah.
Honestly recommending, I can't do this job, but hold on, I know somebody that can. And it takes nothing. It takes absolutely nothing to refer somebody. Nothing at all. If you know you can't do something, don't just sit on there. I can't do it, so nobody's going to have it. No. So that's really what it is. People supporting people. Women being comfortable enough to sit at these board meetings without feeling aggressive or too ambitious or too wanting or too whatever it is they want to call us or label us. Women being in those rooms so that when the data analyst comes in, she sees, hold on, the board chair is a woman. And her deputy is a woman. She's not the only person, right? So giving that representation, because maybe I should say what should change is the visuals.
Yeah.
That should be my answer. The visuals. If women grow up, if my daughter grows up seeing more people on boards, it's a no-brainer to aspire to be on the board, right? I'm realizing now that I owe a duty of care, and this was told to me by one of my boss, to represent the North more, because people forget I'm a Northerner.
Oh, yes.
Because if I didn't grow up seeing women in the North having a career, I am duty bound to be the visual for a Northern girl to see that you can grow up in Kaduna, go to school in Zaria, and still make it in the corporate world.
Yes, very true.
So, and I'm saying this, I'm reminding myself, obviously, but so what should change is the visuals of what we're seeing. People should be able to see. And I remember, I think it was Ibiko Ashika that said it, that's her board portrait picture. I hope I'm getting this right. But somebody mentioned this. She wore hot pink.
Right.
So in the sea of black, you just see bright. Right. Because you still have to remain feminine. I'm not trying to be a man. No, that's not my job. I want to be a powerful woman. And I will wear my pink lipstick while doing it.
Please do.
Which is why we always slap on makeup. We put on, my daughter calls it, she said, you put on your wolf, your game face. Yes, that's my game face.
Yes.
You're beautiful without makeup, but once in a while you have to put the game face on. So people know I didn't come to play.
Yeah.
So yeah, the visuals, the representation has to change.
Yeah, absolutely. Yes, you're right. Sometimes I do forget that you're from the North, but you're a poster girl in the sense of I can do it. If I can do it, anyone can. But it gives hope to a lot of young women coming up. And you're definitely thriving in your role and in yourself. And yes, do it with your pink lipstick. Why not?
Yes.
Hannatu, it has been such a pleasure having this conversation with you. I've enjoyed every minute of it. And I'd like to thank you for being our guest. And I hope you enjoyed yourself.
I did. I honestly love speaking. So this is fantastic. And we didn't talk about how we met. This has to go on the podcast.
Yes, please.
So for all you listeners, you need to hear how I met Lolita. So I was attending, what was the thing called? Some event, I've forgotten the name. Tessa. Thank you, with Tessa. And I see this woman signing at registration level, and my mind just clocks, you need to meet this woman. This event, and this is one of the skills, one of my tricks of networking, guys. When you're going for an event, try and find out who's going to be there. Clock who you need to meet. People that I don't want to leave this event till I meet this person. Lolita was number one on my list. So even when she was far away from me, as I came off the stage, I walked right to her seat and said, I wanted to meet you. And then she says, I had wanted to meet you too. And
yes,
it's like a match made in heaven. So yes, so happy I clocked you. So happy I saw you at the registration desk.
Yes.
Which is why, and this is why you need to dress well, look well, so people see you and they clock you. And they think, this is somebody I want to meet. And you carry yourself up because you carried yourself with such grace and such power. Honestly.
I have goosebumps.
I didn't know who you were. I had no idea. All I knew was this person needs to be met.
Let me tell my own story, how I met you. Literally, this lovely lady, Hannatu, was sitting on the stage on her panel. And every time you spoke, I felt it. It was like, yes, she said it. And I brought out my iPhone and I wrote in my notes, people to meet at Witessa. And your name, Hannatu Adegboyega, was the first name and the only name I wrote at that point in time. And so when you came up to me and you took that selfie, I was like, oh my God, look at my notebook. It was such an experience. It was a divine alignment. I knew there was something truly special about you, and now I can see it. I saw it then, but I wasn't too sure. But now we've had this conversation and we've met since then, and we had a lovely lunch. And that's a great way to network. And I feel like even you doing sales, there is something people see in you too.
Thank you. So thank you for having me. This was fantastic. I loved every minute.
Same. Thank you.
Thank you.
So, guys, I hope you really enjoyed that episode. I certainly did. Hannatu knows what it takes to be a great salesperson, from being empathetic, understanding your value proposition, and being trustworthy. A lot of sales transactions carried out by people who are solely transactional cannot be sustained because where does trust come from? But one of the things I absolutely love about Hannatu is she's positioned herself to be the voice and an advocate for other women who are navigating their careers. She has given us sound advice on what to do and the mindset to have while we're doing it. So I hope you guys picked up some valuable lessons from our conversation today. I hope you have a wonderful week, and thanks again for joining us on the We Win podcast. Goodbye.